I am pleased to introduce Gabrielle Markley. She chose advocacy at the journal level for her dissemination in order to explore and create advocacy efforts to enhance trail accessibility for individuals with disabilities. I think you will be impressed with her use of the person-environment-occupation model of practice and the manner in which she articulates a role for occupational therapy within this issue. I am sure you will enjoy this presentation.
Hello, my name is Gabrielle Markley. I will be presenting my advocacy project titled The Role of Occupational Therapy in the Promotion of Trail Accessibility. My faculty mentor was Dr. Schmelzer, and my site mentor was Peter Axelson. For my capstone experience, I worked with Beneficial Designs located east of the Sierra Nevada mountains in Lake Tahoe. The company works towards universal access through research, design, and education. Inaccessibility is not a new concept for individuals with disabilities. Although much progress has been made in America's history through civil rights legislation and accessibility standards, individuals with disabilities face daily struggles to achieve inclusion and accessibility in the built and natural environment. Disability statistics substantiate the need for increased accessibility of trails. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 1 in 4 adults in the U.S. live with a disability. The highest percentage of individuals with disabilities, 13.7%, experience a mobility disability, which impacts their ability to walk or climb stairs. Whether looking at the issue of trail accessibility from the micro level of the individual to the macro level of a government agency, it is evident that accessibility has reached beyond the scope of the built environment and in doing so introduced a myriad of barriers that should not be ignored. The Person-Environment Occupation Model, also known as PEO, was used as a guiding framework to identify barriers and supports for individuals recreating on trails. Consistent with the name of the model, this framework focuses on 3 components including the person, environment, and occupation. The person domain includes a holistic description of the individual. Trail users can vary in their physical abilities, cognitive functioning, age, prior trail experiences, trail interests, and socioeconomic status. The environment domain refers to the external factors surrounding or impacting an individual. Environmental factors can include the quality of trail signage, the physical features of the trail, access to outdoor assistive equipment, the location of the park, and accessibility standards. The occupation domain encompasses the meaningful activities and tasks that an individual engages in within a particular context or environment. Occupations may include hiking, biking, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, sightseeing, socializing, and animal watching. These 3 components are the foundation of the PEO model. Increased overlap between the 3 components signifies that there is better fit between the person, environment, and occupation, resulting in improved occupational performance or the ability to access and use the trail system. An adaptive hiker may have impaired occupational performance due to accessibility barriers occurring at the intrapersonal, interpersonal, or structural level. Interpersonal barriers reside within the person. An individual with a disability may have general safety concerns while on a trail. Another intrapersonal barrier may be reduced self-efficacy. Reduced self-efficacy may result if hikers do not have enough information about a trail to make knowledgeable decisions about which trails to hike. Interpersonal barriers are relational and occur between an individual and others. Those working in the outdoor sector may see the outdoors as a risky place for individuals with disabilities. This stigma may further limit an individual's self-efficacy to recreate on trails, as well as reinforce a limited view of accessibility. Structural barriers involve the features of the built and natural environment. The natural environment is inherently inaccessible. Thus, human intervention is required to build trails that provide access to the natural environment. Legislation can also be a structural barrier. Some legislation was designed to promote accessibility for those with disabilities, is limited in scope, and lacks processes for enforcement. The U.S. Access Board is responsible for creating accessibility guidelines and standards for entities covered by the Architectural Barriers Act, also known as the ABA, and the ADA standards for accessible design. In 2004, the U.S. Access Board passed accessibility guidelines for recreation facilities through the Architectural Barriers Act, and provisions were incorporated in 2013 with scoping and technical requirements for trails. The U.S. Forest Service has their own set of accessibility guidelines for outdoor recreation facilities and trails within the National Forest System. These requirements currently only apply to outdoor developed areas located on federal lands or receiving federal money. However, it is recommended that state, local, and private entities use these standards as best practice during the construction and alteration of trails. Interviews and an online questionnaire contributed to an analysis of the current supports and barriers to trail access. Semi-structured interviews were conducted with 9 individuals within the trail community for their knowledge and expertise in different fields. These stakeholders included individuals with disabilities, founders of nonprofits, land managers, trail coordinators, occupational therapists, and accessibility specialists. Common themes were derived from the interviews with key stakeholders in the trail community. Each individual contributed dialogue to the issue that promoted a full understanding of the benefits of outdoor recreation and the current barriers to access. The stakeholders experienced the benefits of outdoor recreation, which led to their present involvement in the trail community. Most had a deep history and relationship with the outdoors that began from an early age. The outdoors was a restorative place that offered a release from daily life and an opportunity to reconnect with the simple parts of life. This longing for the outdoors held strong through disability. Individuals with acquired disabilities sought to return to the outdoors even if it required adaptations. The stakeholders agreed that improving access allows trails to be more approachable and usable by a diverse population. However, the benefits of outdoor recreation are sometimes overridden by barriers to accessing the trails. Inconsistent funding for accessibility projects was commonly noted as a barrier. Accessibility is often not viewed as a priority over other costly issues such as managing visitors and maintaining the trails. Another commonly shared barrier was a lack of choice for accessible trails. Adaptive hikers often experience a lack of choice or autonomy for trails that are suitable for their skills, abilities, or adaptive equipment. This barrier can be amplified by a lack of information about the expected features of the trails. The data from the interviews resulted in the decision to develop an online questionnaire. The questionnaire explored how the participants perceived and comprehended the trail access information presented on signage created by beneficial designs, and explored the importance of this information for a diverse group. An OT lens guided the development of the survey and the interpretation of the results. 126 individuals participated in this survey. 26 of these individuals reported experiencing hiking limitations. On average, individuals with hiking limitations reported a higher importance for information about each trail feature. These findings suggest that individuals with hiking limitations may desire more information before going on a trail. If this information is not provided, individuals may forego trails that may be accessible, therefore restricting their participation. Without appropriate objective information, individuals may need to conduct more extensive research before deciding to go on a trail. Approximately 78% of the participants reported knowing someone with an impairment that could benefit from the trail access information. The questionnaire findings support the need for trail access information. However, the readability of the information is equally important to consider. If the public cannot interpret the information presented to them, the information will be of little use. Thus, the questionnaire explored the readability of the trail access information through analysis of the quantitative and qualitative data. Measures of readability included the amount of content on the sign, the complexity of the data, the size and style of the visual characters, and the comprehensibility of the graphics and terms. Responses of the participants were mixed in terms of the amount of content presented on the signs with trail access information. While 40.5% of the participants felt that the signs had too much information, 40.4% of the participants felt that the signs had the right amount of information. In an ideal situation, the right amount of information on a sign will quickly inform the hiker about what to expect on the trail. 73% of the participants agreed that the data was easily understood. However, individuals who choose to read the data may experience a learning curve. Individuals will start to build a mental schema that helps them organize and interpret the data during future hikes as they continue to read and experience the trail access information. The minimum character height in the ABA standards is at least 5/8 of an inch, which is equivalent to a 62-point font when viewing a sign from less than 72 inches away. A 62-point font accommodated the visual abilities of all participants in the analysis. However, the standards currently only apply to the visual characters of the trail name, and most signs use text much smaller than the 62-point font to display their data. This small text may present a barrier to individuals with low vision. 4 graphics were analyzed in the questionnaire, including grade, cross-slope, tread width, and surface. My capstone site has an extensive history researching and working on these graphics. I will continue to collaborate with my site after graduation to further interpret the data and provide recommendations for the graphics in my manuscript. Analysis of the interviews and online questionnaire guided the advocacy efforts. Interventions were directed at each of the 3 components of the PEO model to minimize access barriers and enhance occupational performance. One of the barriers to accessibility is defining a single approach for how to make a trail experience accessible for all trail users. Due to the unique and subjective experience of using a particular trail, occupational therapists can identify solutions on a client-by-client basis to promote increased access and safety. These health professionals may address various client factors that influence how an individual performs his or her occupations. The planned interventions will align with the client's goals in order for him or her to engage in outdoor recreation activities. An occupational therapist also can explore and assist the client with finding appropriate outdoor assistive equipment for the trail. The search will be guided by the individual's trail preferences and the activity demands associated with those preferences. Since outdoor assistive equipment is often not covered by insurance, the occupational therapist can assist with researching alternative funding sources that may help cover the cost of this equipment. Occupational therapists can recommend low-cost technology for their clients, such as phone applications like AllTrails. Phone applications are a low-cost option to increase an individual's knowledge about the expected trail features and facilitate engagement in trail activities. Along with individualized interventions based on the client's specific needs, an occupational therapist can target aspects of the environment to promote increased accessibility for a diverse population. Physical trail modifications are not the only available solution to improve the accessibility of the natural environment. The availability of more information about specific trail features can assist hikers with identifying trails that are suitable for their skills and preferences. An occupational therapist can assist with evaluating and making recommendations to enhance the readability of trail access information provided on trail signage. Additionally, awareness of the federal standards for trailhead signs, as well as the technical requirements for accessible trail features, is mixed among those working in the trail industry. An occupational therapist can provide consulting and educational services to land managers, trail coordinators, and trail designers about accessible trail design. These services will be primarily directed at individuals working for federal agencies. However, those working at the city, county, or state level also can benefit from this information when planning for accessibility within their trail systems. An occupational therapist can assist with creating a site-specific transition plan containing all the recommendations and strategies to improve accessibility. An occupational therapist may help a client transition back to outdoor activities after acquiring a disability. An occupational therapist can connect the individual to community resources such as adaptive outdoor recreation programs. Using adaptive techniques, the client may find new meaning and purpose in adaptive tasks. Consequently, this process may facilitate the client's self-efficacy to engage in outdoor activities, as he or she experiences successes in and out of the clinic. An occupational therapist also can advocate for the rights of individuals with disabilities to recreate outdoors. They can assist with requesting accommodations for individuals with disabilities to receive equal opportunity to participate in programs, services, and activities. Trail accessibility is becoming a more prevalent topic of discussion due to the strong desire for individuals of all abilities to experience the outdoors. Occupational therapists are joining this movement to contribute to advocacy efforts. These interventions can include addressing specific client factors, exploring outdoor assistive equipment needs, and acting as a consultant for accessibility-related trail projects. Occupational therapists can play a vital role in advocating for enhanced trail access for individuals of all abilities. And here are my references. I would like to thank my family and friends for their steadfast love and support through the ups and downs of life. I would also like to thank Dr. Schmelzer for her guidance, support, and critique through my graduate school experience. I would like to thank my site mentor, Peter Axelson, for providing an opportunity for me to complete my capstone in a unique field. Lastly, thank you to the class of 2021. I look forward to hearing about your accomplishments and successes, not only in the field of OT, but in your future endeavors, relationships, and personal growth.